with ZipRecruiter.
For the second time in 3 years, Frontier Airlines is making an offer to buy Spirit Airlines.
Frontier Airlines says it will pay $2.1 billion for Spirit Airlines, which filed for bankruptcy this past November. But the offer is inadequate, according to Spirit executives who say they're rejecting the deal in favor of their own plan to exit bankruptcy, something they say will happen this quarter.
ABC's Mike Dubusky. Spirit tried to merge with JetBlue in 2022, but a judge blocked that. President Trump's pick for health secretary got his confirmation hearing on Wednesday.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. repeatedly insisted he's not against vaccines.
I support the measles vaccine. I support the polio vaccine.
But the Finance Committee's Democrats, led by Oregon's Ron Wyden, were not convinced.
Anybody who believes that ought to look at the measles book you wrote saying parents have been misled into believing that measles is a deadly disease. That's not true.
The hearing featured repeated interruptions from protesters, but the room was also filled with several Kennedy supporters. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Change is coming to the U.S. Open. The U.S. Tennis Association says the tournament is expanding to 15 days this year, starting on a Sunday for the first time in the Open era that began in 1968. The Australian Open went to 15 days this year. The French Open was the first to expand to 15 days back in 2006. The U.S. Open to start August 24th. I'm Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
5:05 now, and with your KBNU News update this hour, I'm Will Theelwright. The chief of the Tremonton Fire Department has been arrested for allegedly sharing child pornography. Ned Brady Hansen, a 54-year-old, was booked into the Box Elder County Jail earlier this week. Now, according to an arrest affidavit, the Brigham City Police Department received a cyber tip back in November from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It described how an individual in the county had been detected to be sharing child pornography through a social media app. Now, the report identified the account as having shared videos and images of child sexual abuse material involving a 10 to 12-year-old girl. Now, police were able to obtain a warrant and track the account to an email address and phone number, both registered to Hansen. An IP address was also tracked to his phone, or to his home, that is, in Garland. Now, on Monday, police served a search warrant on Hansen's residence and took him into custody. They also seized several phones and tablets to be forensically processed. Now, during an interview with police, Hansen reportedly admitted to possessing the child sexual abuse material on his phone. He also confessed to being the account's subscriber. Now, according to jail records, Hansen was booked on suspicion of 8 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor, a second-degree felony, 1 count for each file allegedly shared. And a tragedy in Layton. A crossing guard yesterday morning hit and killed in an auto pedestrian crash. Now, the incident happened at a lighted intersection at about 8:30. The 67-year-old crossing guard, identified as Stephen Wynn, had just helped several kids safely cross the roadway and was on his way back to the sidewalk when a northbound vehicle approached and failed to stop. Now, Layton Police Lieutenant Travis Lyman said the crossing guard was still in the roadway when the elderly woman's vehicle fatally struck the man. Now, a Layton Police Department officer happened to be at the intersection and witnessed the crash. The officer attempted life-saving measures, but the crossing guard was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, it hasn't immediately been released as to why the driver did not stop for the crossing guard, and police have not said if there was any sort of impairment or distraction. They did note, though, that the driver was cooperating with the investigation. And it's a big game tonight for the Utah State Aggie men's basketball team as they are back in the Spectrum to host UNLV, a team that, of course, gave the Aggies one of their few losses this season just a couple of weeks ago. Now, head coach Jared Calhoun yesterday says the Aggies really have just a few weeks over these next couple of games to really make a difference as they head towards the Mountain West basketball tournament.
There's
11 games left. We play 3 games in 6 days, so we got to be extremely smart with our practice times, our rest, our recovery. It's a lot of basketball, right? So your practices are short and sweet, to the point. They've been pretty efficient this far. We're going to have a good one here today, and be ready to roll.
Now, the Aggies will tip off against UNLV tonight at 8 o'clock. Our game day pregame show with J.D. Walker and Stockton Jukes will begin at 7. And, of course, then immediately after the game, we'll have our post-game and Aggie call. So make sure to join us as you head up to the Spectrum and tune in after the game. Well, weather-wise, we're going to see clear skies continuing through the rest of the afternoon as temperatures were in the high 30s today. Tonight we'll be back into the single digits, and then tomorrow back into the high 30s. As we head towards Friday, though, clouds coming in, bringing with it a chance of some rain and snow. It'll begin Friday, continuing into Saturday, Sunday, as temperatures will get into the low 40s. And it looks like this chance of rain will continue into the first of next week. News and weather brought to you by Roof Rescue, dedicated to keeping your home safe and dry from minor repairs to complete roof replacement. Remember, Roof Rescue. I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News Update. More of KVNU's For the People show coming up next.
This year, make the resolution to love the skin you're in with Bell Sculpt. Whether it's sculpting your silhouette by removing stubborn hormonal fat or addressing loose skin with award-winning cosmetic surgery, Bell Sculpt offers customized solutions for every body and every goal. Our expert team of board-certified surgeons will create a personalized plan to help you look and feel your best. Start 2025 with confidence. Visit bellsculpt.fm to schedule your consultation and find a solution that works for you.
This is Dr. Red, chiropractic physician with Red River Health and Wellness. Are you suffering with fatigue, brain fog, headaches, intestinal issues, weight gain, and you haven't been able to find any answers?
Before I started at Red River, I was having a lot of stomach pain. I was overweight, severe anxiety, some depression. I had been to multiple doctors. I'd been to specialists. We had done tests, and no one could find anything that was wrong.
Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
I'm on anxiety medicine. I've lowered my dose, and I'm working with my doctor to continue to lower it. I'm sleeping through the night. I have energy for my kids. I've lost 30 pounds. I just feel really good.
Our goal is to teach you and educate you so you know how to manage your condition a lot more effectively, and you know what to do and what not to do for the rest of your life.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
To the jobs you do.
This time of year, the farms, ranches, and fields might be quiet, but if you make your living off the land, the real work is just getting started. Now is the perfect time to prepare for the busy spring ahead. Cash Equipment can service or repair almost any tractor, make, or model. Don't wait until the fields are calling. Beat the spring rush. Visit Cash Equipment in Hyde Park and online at cashequipment.com.
Cash Equipment's here to see you through.
KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com and on the KVNU mobile app.
Get your furnace fixed. Call Gary Riggs. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs. If you're having heating trouble and you need your furnace fixed, just pick up the phone and call Gary Riggs. 435-512-6633. We'll come to you. Our service fee is low, just $25. We repair all brands and have certified installers. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs.
25 NCAA championships, 18 conference championships,
and the Aggies are going dancing.
10 tournament championships.
The Aggies are pulling out the scissors, and they're going to cut down the net.
Our winning culture continues. Our Utah State Aggies play here on the Aggie Sports Network.
Pre-game begins 1 hour before tip-off. Don't miss game day on your home of the Aggies. News Talk KVNU.
Either
45 days sounds like a long time, but if you know what goes into the budgeting and appropriations process, it's funding education, it's keeping the lights on and running the state agencies.
Welcome back to KVN News for the people.
Water bills. There is so much that goes on, and 45 days goes by really fast. We're kicking things off here. Our first official interview related to the 2025 legislative session is a person who I'm sure is not very busy.
It is what it is.
And
so far,
right now,
we've still got 5 weeks to go, but
to replace
not too bad so far.
Representative Dan Johnson.
Some of the things that cities are nervous about,
Utah's
we'll talk about here on the show.
District in the state house, basically
Hints
the majority
and
of the
rumors
population of Cache Valley and Logan
at times
City.
even outright
we have with us
proposals
Utah House Representative
from
for
lawmakers
District 3.
That
Jason Thompson joining
have
us. And
city leaders
Thompson,
worried, to say the least,
for KVNU to do
when
this
it comes
today.
to zoning.
I'm sure
and
with the
listener
legislative session
inquired
a week away,
what
there
this
are
was
a
all
million
about.
things
and
you'd rather be
realized
doing with your
that's
time right
something
now, so
that
we
I
do
never really
appreciate
explained
it.
many times here on the show.
How's it
why
going? How has
the
it been getting
legislature
ready
was
for
even
the session?
toying with this idea. And just
Jason,
for the
it's been
record,
going awesome.
the Speaker of the House,
you say
Representative
not
Jason
stressed
Thompson,
at all, not
just
busy,
heard
not
from
tired.
Representative Casey Snyder, Senator
the
Chris
weight
Wilson.
of the responsibility of what
Basically,
we've got to
everyone
do.
we've talked to here in
I'm
Cache Valley.
feeling it.
And
I'm
Speaker of the
loving
House
it a
Mike
ton,
Schultz,
man.
during the direct
went
link
a couple
event, we had a
weeks
chance
ago
to moderate.
from being in
There
Salt
was a
Lake,
question about this.
1 to 2 days
Basically,
a week, to jumping to 3 days
a lot
a
of
week, to now
people
pretty much
who
5 days a week.
are in
I'm in Salt
decision-making
Lake, getting
positions
prepared,
for the legislature at
for
large,
the session,
leadership
but
roles,
things are going remarkable. They'd
are
be
saying
going
this
better
isn't
if
going
I
to
would
happen.
not keep getting
The
lost
legislature
in the
is
tunnels
not
every day.
going to take over
my
zoning.
biggest problem is getting lost in the Capitol.
Where this originally came
I've
from,
been
by the way,
doing this for about 16 years, and we always go down.
and
on
why
the
I
final
think
day.
it's just a
always
rumor.
managed to get lost. So
there was a city in Utah that developers
then, of course,
kept trying
you're
to.
inundated
They
with
wanted
new
to build,
information and decisions,
and the city,
your
in
staff
kind of a
handing you
knee-jerk
things left and
reactionary
right. I really
response
admire
to
anyone who can do it.
growth in Utah and how that changes,
are there already
the
a few
city,
issues that you know
both
are
physically,
that
but
you're,
also
that you're excited
sometimes
to get a
the
chance
character
to discuss or even
shifts
vote on?
a little bit. And I don't know if it was
gonna be an
political,
exciting
but there was a city in Utah that just refused
and I think they're all
to issue any building permits
but
for
this
houses.
one's going to be really exciting.
And
We've got.
that
I
made
just got
the
my committee
lawmaker,
assignments not very
House
long ago.
representative
I'm
in
on,
that particular district in
They were
Southern
mean
Utah
to you. They
angry.
put you on the Public Education Appropriations Subcommittee.
And so my theory is it came up at this committee meeting 2 years ago,
an understatement at that
just
point.
to kind of scare that
it is,
city.
But I'll tell you
But
what, there's some great
it did
resources
get
on the Hill. There's
a
people
lengthy
who know
discussion,
the education
and
budget
it was
inside and out. And it's
there
a
was
way
one
for
bill
me to be able
last year,
to,
or 2023.
to
There was a
contribute
bill
to public education,
that actually
which is so
kind of
important
opened the
to me.
door to this.
And,
And the idea
and
is that
it's one of the things I'm
the
looking forward to the
legislature,
most is understanding
looking at
the
housing
budgeting
prices,
process
looking
inside
at
out for
projected
public ed,
growth,
and
looking
making
at
sure that our teachers have all the tools and
the
resources
challenges
they
that
need
all
to
that
do
brings.
to
The
do the job that they're
legislature
there to do,
wanting
which
to
is
say to
care about our
cities, hey,
kids and teach them.
to the cities
I was,
that need to hear
all
this, hey,
joking
you
aside,
got
I
to
was
grow up.
excited to see that they
We're growing,
had placed
more
you on
people
that,
are moving in, more people
appropriations
are staying here after
because
being
I remember
born
talking
here,
to you as a
and we've got to
candidate,
deal
Jason,
with this.
and,
Otherwise, it kind
Representative
of
Thompson
hurts everybody as far as the housing market and housing prices and
Utah's growth,
everything in
with
between.
Cache Valley, everything that's
So
going to kind of
I get where the
change
legislature is
around us over
coming
the
from.
next
The
10,
idea
20 years
that the legislature could
education is going to be so
what scared me about this is the legislature has been on a bit of an ego trip, and I thought,
Cache Valley,
yeah, they really probably think they could do it.
Announced that
just handle zoning for the state.
Education appropriations,
but it's a horrible idea.
Someone's making good decisions.
Some
there,
kind
but
of
that has to be a bit intimidating.
Statewide zoning policy. Now you can do it a little bit.
It is the
the
biggest.
state could say, for example,
one of the biggest budgetary items in the
ADUs
state is our education
are legal in
budget.
Utah unless it is in violation of some other existing city ordinance involving proximity to a highway or a street or power lines or something like that.
It is somewhat daunting.
There are a lot of reasons the city might, say no to an ADU,
a lot of priorities. I'm excited to be able to
dwelling
have,
unit back behind a
some
house.
input there to make sure that our
there are a lot of
teachers are
valid
funded
reasons
well.
for that.
Sure.
But a lot of cities are saying no to that because residents object.
Dominated also with housing bills, water bills, things like that.
And the legislature could say, no, in Utah, unless it's in violation of some other ordinance or statute, you have to allow property owners, if they have the space and that space fits within the city guidelines for dwelling units,
over it,
you have to let them build a
detached
dwelling unit behind their home.
Does that make you nervous at all as you hear some of these some of this rhetoric.
And that
come
might
up,
not hurt too bad if the legislature did something like that. But the idea of the legislature taking up zoning
I feel
for
like
the state
there's an
in general,
overall
which is
good
what was
grasp.
proposed
And one of the things that I'm learning is that as a state, we
either
have
way,
a
again,
lot
the Speaker of the House has basically said, I don't think we should go there.
And the depth of these challenges are,
Senate President hasn't
some of
weighed
these
in,
run
but
pretty deep.
Senator Chris
But
Wilson
the other
said he's
thing
not
that
a fan, and he
I'm
serves
really
on
excited about
pretty important
is that our
committees in that
opportunities
realm.
are even greater.
So I don't
We
think
have
it's going to happen,
tremendous
but
opportunities
to the
as a
listener's
state
question
to,
about why cities are nervous
to
about
manage
this,
the growth,
it got
make
a
sure
serious
that we're,
discussion
that
2 years
we're
ago.
conserving
And
on
they've been
water,
worried
that
about
we're
it since.
focusing on
I don't think it'll happen. I hope it
rebuilding
doesn't
our
happen,
water
but
infrastructure.
we'll see. Like I said, 5 weeks
and our
left in the
objectives
session.
here to say, hey, let's look at everything from
We'll be back with more of KVNU's For the People after this look at the news with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
We're getting adequate water.
Well, on Utah's Capitol Hill yesterday, House Bill 269, known as the Privacy Protections in Sex-Designated Areas, passed the House. Now, the bill, which aims to modify provisions regarding sex-designated privacy spaces in education and government facilities, passed on a vote of 59 to 13. Now, this comes just a few weeks after the mother of a female student at Utah State said a transgender resident had been assigned to her daughter's apartment. Now, that student, Avery Saltzman, said that she felt a need to speak up for herself and to protect girls.
Like that. It makes them
when
nervous.
asked if it was an assignment that she could have lived with, Avery said no. Last week, she testified in favor of the bill. The bill aims in part to preserve the individual privacy of males and females at degree-granting institutions that provide student housing and may only rent to, assign, or otherwise place an individual in a dwelling unit that is sex-designated within the institution's student housing. Avery said that she's not anti-trans and that she supports inclusive housing. Equality Utah officials said that they understand legitimate concerns of privacy, but said that transgender people have rights as well. Well, leaders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints announced yesterday the open house and dedication dates for the Syracuse, Utah Temple. The public open house will run May 10th through the 31st. The temple will then be dedicated in one session on June 8th, with that session being broadcast to local congregations. President Russell M. Nelson announced the temple during the April 2020 General Conference. Utah is home to nearly 2.2 million members of the faith. The Syracuse Temple will be the 31st temple in Utah that's either in operation, under renovation, under construction, or already announced. And a man was sentenced to prison for his involvement in a drug trafficking-related shooting. Rafael Antonio Torres, a 21-year-old of West Jordan, was sentenced to 10 years in prison and 5 years of supervised release. Now, Torres was originally charged last year for the January 2023 shooting. According to law enforcement, Torres and a relative had met in the parking lot of the Taylorsville apartment complex on January 31st of 2023 with a potential customer seeking to buy THC vape cartridges.
To come from
just
that
before
experience
midnight,
of having
officers with the police department responded to multiple reports of shots fired and found 2 men dead in a car that had crashed into a snowbank.
I do have to ask
they
this,
saw a
though,
third person
Representative
identified
Thompson,
as
have you been there
Torres
long enough
flee
to
from
have
the back
anything
of the
bad to
car?
say yet about
U.S. Attorney
Representative
Trina
Snyder?
Higgins
I
with the
asked
District of
everyone that.
Utah said this is the case.
You know what?
As a tragic reminder of the deadly consequences of mixing drug trafficking with firearms.
Representative Snyder,
Well, we hit the high 30s today, and now tonight we'll be back into the single digits overnight as we have clear skies continuing through the evening and overnight. As tomorrow should be seeing temperatures back into the high 30s, and then clouds coming in for Friday, bringing with it a chance of a mix of rain and snow, and then looks like mostly rain Saturday and Sunday.
I always have
see
to ask
temperatures
because he's
in
the
the low
nicest
40s,
guy, and one
chance
time
of rain will
get
continue
somebody
into
to say something mean
next
about
week.
him. But
News and weather brought to you by
this
Maple
is,
Creek Ranch, some of the most coveted land in Cache Valley, and only a few lots remain. Google Maple Creek Ranch if you'd like more information. It's Maple Creek Ranch, and I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU News Update.
The colder weather is here. Are your quilts and blankets looking dingy? Is your winter coat or jacket dirty enough to stand in the corner just by itself? Well, go to Mount Logan Laundry. It'll take no time at all to freshen up everything. They have the 55 and 80-pound washers, the biggest around, and great big dryers, too, and it costs a whole lot less than dry cleaning. Free Wi-Fi and drop-off service. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town on the corner of 5th East, 9th North, and Logan, or in Brigham at 1st East, 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump signing the Lake and Riley Act into law today, requiring ICE agents to detain migrants accused of theft and violent crimes. It was named after the 22-year-old Georgia nursing student killed by an undocumented migrant. ABC's Selena Wang says the president also calling for more funding.
President Trump signed a presidential memorandum directing the Department of Homeland Security and the Pentagon to start expanding migrant operations at Guantanamo Bay. Now, his borders czar Tom Homan said that he expects that Immigrations and Custom Enforcement would be running this operation and that they would be flying migrants down there.
A federal judge today sentencing former Senator Bob Menendez to 11 years in prison for bribery and acting as a foreign agent to aid Egypt and Qatar while serving as chair of the Foreign Relations Committee. Menendez vows to appeal. The Federal Reserve Board wrapped up its two-day policy meeting, keeping interest rates unchanged for now.
Thompson. He heads
This
into
is
his
ABC
first session
News.
officially 1 week from tomorrow.
January is just the beginning of your health and wellness journey. This is Dan at the Sports Academy. Are you ready to feel empowered, energized, and unstoppable? The Sports Academy offers something for all ages and fitness levels. The largest weight rooms, certified coaches, trainers, dietitians, and the largest variety of group fitness classes. Start your health and wellness journey today at the Sports Academy. Your club, your results, your life.
And see how things are going.
Is one of your New Year's resolutions to keep the house cleaner? Have you considered having your air ducts cleaned? A clean air system can cut down on surface dust, improve air quality, and get rid of that winter shut-in smell. If you're interested in getting a free quote, call the Duct Hunter at 435-770-4813.
We are the Duck Hunter. Breathe better, save money, protect your home. We are the Duck Hunter.
Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU.
My name is Bruce Lee. I'm here with my co-host Sid Roeder. We're here for another fun show.
This radio show is sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and efforts to provide information that is hopefully useful to seniors, their family members, caretakers, and really anybody who's interested.
Senior Moments, every Saturday morning at 7:30, right here on News Talk KVNU.
Watch video and audio of committee meetings, floor time debates before or live or after the fact. All of that at led.utah.gov. And one more time, thank you to our guest, Representative Jason Thompson. I appreciate you taking some time for us today. And best of luck.
Very special guest
joining
us to talk about a really
Jason. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Available
and to
now.
our listeners, also a pleasure to have you join us today
throughout
as well.
northern Utah, wherever you might
Stick
be
around.
listening
More
from.
of KVNU's For the People
even
to come
in parts of
right after
Idaho
this.
as well. USU's Sorensen Legacy Foundation Center for Clinical Excellence has teamed up with the Bear River Health Department with a grant made available to allow them to offer basically free clinical services. This is something that is available for, again, anyone out there, and as many as, according to research, 20% of Utah adults experience poor mental health, and as many as half of those individuals do not currently receive any kind of treatment or counseling for that. And oftentimes, a fair assumption, this has to do with either the expense or just lack of knowledge about the availability. So that's one of the reasons that folks at the Sorensen Center and the Bear River Health Department stepped up to provide this service. And joining us now, Executive Director of USU Sorensen Center, Dr. Gretchen Peacock. And Dr. Peacock, appreciate taking some time for KVNU to talk about this today, but also appreciate that this service is being offered. This is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for letting me talk about the service and mental health services in general, which I think, as you noted, are really needed all over the place, including in Cache Valley. Yeah, it is important to note that for the single session consultation service, it is just one session, but there are data that shows that we shouldn't look necessarily at one session as just one session, but hey, it's one session of free services. And can really get people started on a path to focusing on some targeted areas in their life that they'd like to improve on. So we're excited to be able to offer this to the community.
Sure. And what a service to offer. Dr. Peacock, one of my favorite things about this topic is something that has recently changed about this topic. But we've gotten to a point now where I think the stigma is going away. It's not gone, unfortunately, but it's going away. This is now, it's now acceptable and okay to talk about mental health the same way a person would talk about, I like to use this example. If you broke your leg and you told your friends you weren't going to do anything about it, they would laugh at you. And if they're good friends, they would chastise you and force you to follow up, right?
Right. Yep, for sure.
That is, but there is, your mental health is just like any other part of your physical well-being. And that's what makes this service so unique. And as I understand it, Dr. Peacock, this is being offered in both an in-person and via telehealth options?
Yeah, that is correct. As with many places, we significantly expanded our ability to provide telehealth during and after COVID, and we've maintained that because telehealth allows us to reach people throughout the state of Utah and even into Idaho, where we have some clinicians who are licensed to provide services to Idaho residents. And telehealth has been, I think, a great equalizer in access to mental health services. The data shows that services provided via telehealth are just as effective as in-person services. And it allows people who might not be able to travel to services because of distance or time or a whole host of factors to access those services. So, yes, this particular service and all of our mental health services can be provided via telehealth.
That's obviously a convenient option, but I'm thinking of maybe someone in Rich County or parts of southeastern Idaho. Telehealth may be the only realistic option, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, most mental health therapy sessions are 45 minutes to an hour, and so if you live an hour away or an hour and a half away, it's a big part of your day to if you're going to go in person and drive for an hour session, you spend more time in your car than you do at the session. So yes, telehealth has really helped folks in the more rural and remote areas access quality services that they just weren't able to access easily before.
This is, and I think it goes without saying why Bear River Health Department would be interested in, through the grant they've offered in helping the Sorensen Center offer this service, but a really unique opportunity to take advantage of. And I know for many of our listeners who are thinking, okay, how do I get the ball rolling on this? One of their first questions is going to be, who is offering, who will they be speaking with in these single session consultation meetings?
That's a great question. So one of the things that is important to note about the Sorensen Center that I think is a unique and positive aspect of the Sorensen Center is we're not just a healthcare facility providing mental health services and other services, but we also serve as a training facility for graduate students who are working on various degrees at Utah State University. And so a number of our services are provided by graduate students who are supervised by licensed clinicians. We like to say in those instances that clients are getting the benefit of two people for the price or for the single session for free for one person. So for our single session consultation services, we have a handful of graduate students, again, supervised by licensed clinicians who provide services. And then we do have one licensed clinician who's currently providing those services also. If people go to our website and look for the sign-up link, they can see who the clinicians are and who has availability. I should note that because USU semester starts on Monday, that our availability will be updated probably sometime next week or the week after to reflect people's current schedules.
Sure. This is, and you mentioned this already, Dr. Peacock, but these single sessions are being done in a way that, well, maybe let me ask the question this way: What is how would you describe to people what is known as a solution-focused brief therapy?
Right. Yeah, so it's coming in with a specific issue that someone wants to work on. And so this is not for everyone, and we're not saying that everyone should just have a single session of therapy and be done.
Sure.
But this can be a way for people who have a very focused issue that they're working on or want some feedback on. then want to do some problem solving. So we prompt our clients in the single session consultation to identify a specific issue or problem that they want to make progress on, and then help them brainstorm possible solutions to that, and then have them commit to trying some of those solutions over the next week, month, something along those lines. And then obviously, some people will need longer to work on whatever it is that they came in for initially. And in those cases, maybe people do decide, I'm going to seek out therapy services and have more extended therapy. So we realize that this is not going to be a one and done for everyone that gets it, but hopefully it will be a good introduction to therapy for people that haven't experienced therapy before.
Sure. And also as a starting point, if a person finds that, there may be a benefit to going on on a regular basis, even with some sort of therapy, they could get some recommendations, get some pointers, at least get pointed in a direction to head there, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And I think some of it you mentioned that there's less of a stigma on mental health and less of a stigma with getting therapy, which I agree with. And at the same time, I think there is still some stigma present and just some unknowns. I mean, we all grew up going to the doctor from the time we were born. We didn't all grow up in therapy, and I think people sometimes have misconceptions and maybe are a little unsure about what therapy looks like. And so this for those people in particular, again, that are experiencing some kind of targeted problem, this single session consultation can be helpful to get them going on that path.
Sure. And we should, here in this conversation for our listeners, normalize that as well. I get nervous and my heart rate goes up when I have an appointment for a tetanus shot. It is very, very, very typical to be nervous, to be worried, to be scared even of opening this door and going this route. But again, like any other part of your physical health, it is so important to take care of yourself mentally and the rest of your body. And again, free services. These services provided by licensed mental health professionals and graduate students in psychology and social work. All of this being done and conducted, if you will, by the Sorensen Legacy Foundation Center for Clinical Excellence at Utah State University, working with a grant from the Bear River Health Department. Our guest again, Dr. Gretchen Peacock, Executive Director of the Sorensen Center there. And Dr. Peacock, while we have you, can we talk a little bit more about the Sorensen Center at large? This is just one of many things happening through the center.
Yes, you are right. It is one of many things happening. We have a whole host of services that are available to individuals in the community. I think one misconception sometimes about the Sorensen Center is because we are located on the campus of Utah State University in Logan. People think that we are here to provide services primarily to students, and that is not the case. We are a community-facing center, and we provide services to anyone who would like to seek our services. And as you noted, we provide services across a variety of areas. Mental health is one of those. And we do have a variety of mental health service lines, but we also provide services like audiology services across the lifespan and speech-language pathology services across the lifespan. We also have some service lines that do evaluations for things like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and learning disabilities. So there's lots of exciting things going on here.
That is amazing. And again, I get the opportunity to say this all the time on the show, but happening right in our own backyard. It's so nice to live this close to Utah State University. But these services and the specific free single session consultations we've been discussing here are available to community members in Cache County. If you're listening in Box Elder, Rich County, up in Franklin, this is a wide-reaching project, and again, a good opportunity to get in and get some help that can really help. If you're, after the holidays, feeling overwhelmed, many people that I know personally struggle with seasonal depression at times. Anxiety is high for everyone right now. We just came out of a presidential election. This is all something that can be dealt with, and sometimes very easily, sometimes not. But either way, this is a free way to get in and get started on a healthier route. And again,
courtesy of the Bearwood Health Department and USU's Sorensen Legacy Foundation Center for Clinical Excellence. Our guest again has been executive director of the Sorensen Legacy Foundation Center for Clinical Excellence at Utah State University, Dr. Gretchen Peacock. And Dr. Peacock, really appreciate taking some time for KVNU today. Last question here for you. What should people do if they're interested? What's a good first step?
So I think a good first step for any of our services, including the single session consultation that you've been talking about, is to go to our website and take a look a little bit more at what we have to offer. The easiest way to get to our website is go to sorensencenter.usu.edu. Sorensen is Sorenson. And we have lists of all of our services that are offered. We have contact information. We have bios on our different clinicians, and people can get a little bit more of a sense of who we are, what we have to offer, and call and get more information if they're interested.
That website again, sorensencenter.usu.edu. I've also linked to that on our Facebook page if you'd like to find it there. You can also do a simple search for USU Sorensen Center, and right there on the main page you'll see options for the service we've been discussing here today. Thanks again to Dr. Peacock for taking the time to stop by and talk to us today. Thank you, Dr. Peacock. Thanks to our listeners for being here as well. Stick around. More of KVNU's For the People to come right after this.
Nestled in the heart of breathtaking landscape, Maple Creek Ranch on the north end of Cache Valley is more than just land. It's where your story begins. It's the perfect location for building your dream home. But only a few lots remain, so act now to claim your piece of paradise. Imagine mornings with breathtaking views, evenings by the fire, and every moment surrounded by the peaceful charm of nature. With stunning views, babbling brooks, and miles of wilderness. Google Maple Creek Ranch to learn more about these final few lots.
Hi, I'm Wendy, co-founder of Bell Sculpt. I know what it's like to feel uncomfortable in your own skin, worrying about how you look, feeling drained, and just not like yourself. Hormone changes, pregnancy, or aging can lead to weight gain and challenges that aren't your fault. That's why I believe so strongly in what we do at Bell Sculpt. I've had a procedure myself, and it transformed more than just my shape. It boosted my energy, metabolism, and confidence. If you're ready to feel like yourself again, Bell Sculpt is here to help. Book your free consultation at bellsculpt.fm.
Love is in the air this Valentine's Day with a special evening waiting for you at the Riverwoods Conference Center. Morgan Adald here inviting you to a special Valentine's buffet with music by Wildfire the Band. Come enjoy a delicious selection of prime rib, blackened salmon, tempura shrimp, ribs, and much more. And is it even Valentine's without dessert? Enjoy an endless display of chocolate decadence, delicious cheesecakes, and chocolate-covered strawberries. Nothing says I love you like dinner, dessert, and dancing. Reserve your Valentine's Day today. Visit theriverwoods.com. That's theriverwoods.com.
It's cold outside, but you can keep warm inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. It's just another way we install confidence. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com. York, install confidence.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. A few top advisors at the White House reportedly want to take some of the budget control away from Congress. We'll have more on the attempt to freeze trillions in loans and grants. Also, if Trump's immigration crackdown is big enough, what kind of impact could it have on the economy? And America's favorite sports bet right now, the long shots. Hear why. Thursday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
That is our time for today. I appreciate everyone tuning in, our guests, and everything and all in between. Hope you'll be back with us tomorrow, the latest on the legislative session. For those who missed it, again, we're going to be doing every Tuesday and Thursday at 5 o'clock is going to be dedicated to legislative recap, spotlight on lawmakers, spotlight on bills, and listener reactions. If you want to join us at any point, 753-5868. Our time is out today, but we'll get back to it tomorrow. Kick things off with a For the People Theater Hour and Charlie Schill, and then the legislative session so far, recapping the week in Hour 2. That's tomorrow on For the People. Stick around. Dave Ramsey is next here on KVNU Logan.
Thursday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton Show will break down all the absolute latest on the confirmation battles. What do we expect to happen in that universe? We'll dive into all of it, and you won't want to miss the absolute latest on the ongoing wrecking ball that Trump has been for action and success. All that more, it'll be the Thursday edition. Come hang with us, Clay and Buck.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM. News Talk KVNU, Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM. The power of information.